This podcast is brought to you by Podcast Nation.
You're listening to Wellness Junkies,
where wellness gets real, not perfect.
Welcome to Wellness Junkies, where we try all the wellnessy things, spill the beauty tips, and have real conversations, all with a side of fun.
We're in it, learning together with you.
I'm Amy.
And I'm Katie. Let's get into it.
Welcome back to Wellness Junkies. It's Amy, and we are here with Carl Daikeler. I'm so excited to meet you. For those of you who don't know him, you probably know about his company. So Carl Daikeler is a visionary entrepreneur and the CEO and co-founder of the Beachbody Company, leading innovator in the fitness and nutrition space with a career spanning over 4 decades. Daikeler has been a trailblazer pioneering unconventional and highly effective methods to help individuals reach their health and fitness goals. Daikeler co-founded Beachbody in 1998, which I'm sure you all know and have done one of the programs, now known as BODi, which has expanded into a powerhouse of fitness and nutrition tools under his leadership over the last 26 years. So I'll stop there because that's amazing and a lot. And why don't you give us, first of all, welcome to the show. We're thrilled to have you here. And give us a little bit about your background, how you founded Beachbody, and how that kind of all evolved into where you are today. I know that's a big topic, but I think it's so interesting. And like everyone I know knows Beachbody. Everyone has done a program at least once. So give us the backstory.
Yeah, well, that's interesting. I don't know that many people know Beachbody. People definitely
Really?
know I think they know the underlying programs, P90X,
Right.
Insanity, 21-Day Fix, 80-Day Obsession, and so on. But sort of purposely, Beachbody was this umbrella brand that was created, and that was sort of the essence of even starting the business. We knew that it would be a house of brands, and we just thought, all right, let's if it's going to be a house of brands, we need a place to call it. We need a website, a URL. And so we got beachbody.com. But what's interesting is at a certain point in really 2021, 2022, when we had gone digital and had Beachbody On Demand and Beachbody On Demand Interactive, it created this acronym, BODi, BODi, and we had that URL. And I was like, wow, that's a 4-letter website address is really cool. And it allowed us to be more expansive, meaning, particularly these days, what started with a very reliable business of appealing to the vanity metrics, abs, butt, thighs, weight loss, in the infomercial days, which is where I came from, it evolved into a business that's really, if you sort of look at who are we appealing to and who are we solving problems for, it's busy parents who, yes, the vanity metrics matter to them, but what matters most is, what I would call health span, quality of life. Can I carry the groceries from the car to the kitchen in 1 trip or 2 trips? Can I play with the kids? Can I get up and down off the ground without groaning? So that is BODi, right? That's not Beachbody. So there's 64 million parents in the U.S. That's a real opportunity for us to solve a problem where 60 to 75% of those people are really not being conscious about their fitness and eating. So BODi is an attempt, and the renaming of BODi is the evolution from a direct marketing company that I started in 99. We took our first order, to now 26, 27 years or so later, wanting to help people with the simplest approach to day by day or consistent activity and conscious eating. Now that so I tried to answer your first question, where we come from, and to try to get us how we got here. The only other thing that I'll say, which is sort of a part of our mission, and that is, I want to be the simple solution for people. So we don't have thousands or even hundreds of supplements. I've got the supplements on the site that I think solve the main problems that people have. Getting enough nutrition, people like me who don't like vegetables, for instance. We've got this Shakeology product, and we've got boosts, greens and fiber and um, collagen. Um, People have a hard time getting to the gym, at least busy parents do. So we got 20 to 30-minute workouts that'll help them go from day one to day done. And we've got nutrition plans that help you eat the foods that you love and keep enjoying cocktails, but do it within reason so you get the real outcome that you're looking for. So that's what we are. We're not a sophisticated biohacking company. We are a very simple, approachable, accessible solution for the
Everyday
millions.
person.
That's exactly right. So there you go. There's the background, how I got there, and what it means to go from Beachbody to BODi.
Yeah, it's interesting. I was thinking about when you were talking through that back in the day, and I remember like I had like the DVD that I would like put in and do the workout, like the 20-minute whatever it was in my basement. And my husband did P90X and like back in the day, but it was the focus back then was really on like the physical and the abs and your body. It wasn't about the lifestyle. It wasn't about the healthy eating and moving your body and feeling good and be able to like have longevity and play with your kids on the floor and all of those things, which are much
Yeah.
more relevant now to people. So I think it's really smart the way that you're thinking about it and the way that it appeals to, like we were saying, like the everyday person. It's not complicated. You just get it done.
Yeah, and because of that lack of complexity, we've got a community. It's really interesting, the dynamic. I would have never thought about it this way, but the community, it resonates with real people so much. Like, people are wearing watches and rings and like all these things to measure everything.
Hmm.
And that can be very appealing to a certain part of society, but it can also alienate the rest of us who just aren't interested in making it a full-time job to measure all these things. Look,
Yeah.
I don't want to get dementia. I don't want to get diabetes, and I don't want to die of heart disease, or I want to put it off as long as I can. So the one proven prescription for that is consistent activity and maybe limiting your sugar, eating consciously, right? And so that's what we just try to do. We try to make it really basic for people. And because of that, we've created this community of people that are blown away that there's a company that has managed to stay disciplined about the simplicity. And
Hmm.
then they want to share it with everybody. And it's really cool. It's a really cool dynamic. And, for a company that's 26 years old, I think we're about to be an overnight success.
Yeah. I mean, I would say you're already a success. Um,
Well,
so
it's
how
gone
did,
up and down. So we've got a long way to go, and it's never been to where I wanted it to be. We've had some really wild luck. P90X was just lightning in a bottle.
I
21
know
Day
that was,
Fix, lightning in a bottle.
yeah.
But then, look, the woman who created 21 Day Fix, Autumn Calabrese, found this sweet spot of combining fitness and nutrition in simplicity to solve problems. So she did that with 21 Day Fix. She did it with 80 Day Obsession when I said, I want something that at the same time that people want to lose weight and get abs, they also want to build their butt, which is a very difficult thing to do. So you had to manage food. She created an all-in system for that. It was a huge hit. Then she did it with 4-week gut protocol. Now she's doing it with a program for women's hormone health called BelVital. So
Hmm.
that evolution is what keeps it interesting. And it's why, like, when you think about the issues and how difficult it is for women to get answers about their hormone health, for instance,
Yeah.
to
We talk
have
about that a lot on the show.
y- yeah. So here's this first of its kind all-in-one program called BelVital that is literally helping women from their 30s up into their 60s stop suffering without necessarily needing medical or pharmaceutical intervention. And
Hmm.
that's a pretty unique position to be in, but I've gotta scale it more. That's really the challenge. We've got to find scale.
Yeah. And do people do the programs through your website, app? Like, how does it work from
Yeah,
a
so
consumer
they can
standpoint?
download the app. One of the things about our app, though, is it's literally everywhere. So you can do it on your Apple products, you can do it on your Google or your, what do they call it? Google Android products.
Hmm.
It's on Roku, so you can get it on your TV or Apple Apple TV. So we want to be everywhere, anybody, where they want to consume it, even if it's just on their computer or laptop. So, but I think the thing, unlike really just plugging into, let's say, workouts on YouTube
Yeah.
um, or or following people on Instagram and going, oh, look at these 4 moves that they're doing. I'll do those. Or plugging into, let's say, an iFit or Peloton kind of thing where you're going to be in this stream of content. I try to be more project oriented
Mm.
and help people, like I said, having that day one, like I've got a vacation coming up, so I want to have a certain level of strength for that or certain comfort with how my clothes fit. So if I want to lose 10, 15, 20 pounds by the vacation, I know I'll have a predictable program that will take me there. And that's really what we're goal oriented versus
Mhm.
total lifestyle orientation. But I think once people see that, hey, it's a lot easier for me to stay consistent when I swing from goal to goal, and each one has I get a badge and I have this satisfaction of completion
Yeah.
versus I'm going to be doing this for the rest of my life. Well, look, let me see if I can get a personal best on a half hour on the bike. I'm never motivated by that. I'm motivated by, like right now, I'm doing an 8-week program, 7 days a week, and I just want to make it through all 8 weeks. Like that's my goal.
Right. Right.
And
And you'll
and
worry about
that's
the
a
rest
that's a
later.
it's a different mindset. It's not the mindset that I think most people have around fitness. Like, it's like, "Oh, I gotta start doing this. I'm gonna do it the rest of my life." That can be intimidating, so they'll be like, "Well, I'll start the rest of my life next year or
Right.
January 1st."
Right.
And instead, we're trying to appeal to people, "Hey, start the rest of your life right now, but just solve the next 21 days or just
Mhm.
solve the next 2 months." And that's how people get on this cycle of being project oriented, and it really works.
Yeah, that's a really good way to think about it. I also like programs too because you don't have to think about it. You just press play and you don't have to like start searching for what class and what this. It's just like
God, that's so
you just
true.
do it. Yeah.
Really true. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
we know I do this debate. You wouldn't think, CEO of the place, I shouldn't have this problem, but it's the 5 to 5:30 a.m. debate.
Mm,
Like, nobody's looking at me. I don't need to do this. I don't feel like getting out of bed. And but knowing that all I got to do is suit up and push play, and it's going to tell me what to do. I don't have to
exactly.
drive to the gym. Nothing wrong with the
Right.
gym if you're into it, but I don't have that. I don't have the extra time for a commute to my workout. So I go to the living room, push play, and I know it's going to tell me what to do. And I know, even just as important is, it's gonna tell me what to do in the context of what I've done for the last 3 days and what I need to do for the next 3 days. So I
Right.
know that I'm doing the right thing at the right time. And, that's been our formula really since we started the company.
Very cool. And do people still do the old
Yeah.
ones like P90X and whatever? Are those still popular?
Oh, yeah. It's quite amazing, that these things still chart, particularly now that they're digital. But, like, I'll go into an investor meeting or something, and never do I go into one of those meetings and somebody doesn't say, "Oh, yeah, I've been doing P90X again," or I
Yeah.
my kids were like, "What was that thing you did, Dad?" And we are all doing it together, or Insanity or 21 Day Fix. It's pretty mind-blowing. We have this program, Body Beast. I
Uh-huh.
interviewed a guy 2 weeks ago. This is a program that, like, I had the premise of, um, I wanna create a program that guys know was made for them, and it's a
Mhm.
lifting program with this bodybuilder and his buddies in the background, and as we started to market it, it was doing okay, but we started to get testimonials and results from women who were
Mm.
loving it, and once we added women to the marketing, 'cause they wanted a step-by-step journey to follow, but they've realized that as busy parents, they have to lift. And so Body Beast, which is probably, I'm gonna say 13 years old, maybe 12 years
Mm.
old, um, people continue to do that program over and over again, and just shows you a good program that works
Right.
is sorta timeless. But then we get the opportunity to reinvent. Like I said, Belvital, this thing, 25-minute speed train, perfect for the summer for me, because 25 minutes, like, again, that
Right. In
5
and out.
a.m. debate. Yeah, I'm like, you know what? 25 minutes. Don't stop whining. Get in there and just do it. And it's over. I'm done for the day. So constantly iterating. And in fact, we announced on our last earnings call that we're expanding the P90X brand into supplements, and also going to be creating new content in multiple genre under the P90X brand. So I'm pretty excited for that. That'll come out like, you know, I would call it first, second quarter of 2026.
That's exciting. I'll have to tell my husband. He loves P90X, although he hasn't done it. He did it a long time ago. I don't know if he could do it now. That's the thing I find with those sorts of programs. They're so intense. Like, as you get older, I don't know. You could probably still do it, but I'm like dying doing those kind of programs now. It's like my body needs different things, I feel like.
Yeah. No, I get it. It So yes and no. Like, I'm 61. So like I started to really appreciate what they call primal moves. And so I do these primal moves, and the more I do them, the more sort of the better my joints all work.
Mm,
Because I'm dealing with all these rotations that you're not really dealing with dumbbells. So we started to incorporate that into the workouts. But what I've noticed is, so those programs are great, specific modules or projects in your life. But then there's that time when you're like, you know what? I want to dial everything in, like really get back to that body. And
yeah.
there's something about that familiar one, whether it's Body Beast, Insanity, P90X, or 80-Day Obsession. And, we got 140 of them. You pick them.
Oh, wow.
But that one that worked for you,
Yeah,
you're like, I'm just going to go back to the well, because that one, when I dial it in, and that
I
extra
know.
confidence, knowing that you're going to finish that project, that there's something very comfortable about the familiar, and at least it is for me. So yeah, I agree with you. You work your way around all these genre, and Pilates is a big deal, and yoga is a big deal, but then every once in a while you want to bring it all together,
Right.
and that's when
Amp
you
it up.
go back to the well. Yeah,
Yeah, I'll have to try it again. We'll see.
yeah, dare
So
you.
you were talking a little bit about mindset before. So how are you integrating that into your life? I know you're into the morning ice baths and stuff, but I'd love to hear more.
Yeah. Well, mindset has been a critical thing, because we were observing that there were some people who could start a program and real life happens, which it happens to everybody, but
Yeah.
they managed to stay on the rails and stay consistent, right? So let's say somebody got sick in the family, or they got sick, or job pressures or something. So they would miss a day or two or three, but they would manage to just get back on. And then
Yeah.
there's this other group of people who would miss a couple days, and all their personal baggage and self-criticism and judgment would attack them and be like, "See, you can't do this. What are you even bothering?" And so we were like, "How can we help those people who attack themselves when life happens be more like these people who have the muscles that get them back on the rails?" So we created this thing called the Body Power Mindset Project, and it's like 15 modules that help you, people like me, who go off track and get pissed at themselves and go, let me figure this out. And part of figuring that out is both learning how not to judge yourself so hard, how to um, feel gratified by the fact that any day that you show up is a victory, when you overcome sort of, I would say, the master versus the gratification slave, like that person who can get out of bed at 5 or 5:30 or 6 and go do it, versus being a slave to gratification and the desire to sleep longer. Like, helping people realize that it's a major victory just to show up, and a major victory, like for me, to have just 2 slices of pizza versus the whole pizza,
Mm.
or eat a salad that is has a reasonable amount of dressing on it versus all the dressing, um, before I plow into whatever the protein or the other parts of the more fun part of the plate, right? So that has been the power of mindset. And we realized this maybe 2 years ago, really when we started to see body positivity come in.
Mhm.
And the observation was, where's body positivity coming from? And body positivity was really coming from people's absolute exhaustion with constantly feeling imperfect no matter what they would do. So,
Yeah.
or if they would get a little bit of progress and they would get a before and after photo, now that after photo will torment them forever because real life will happen. They'll gain a few pounds and oh my God, this sucks.
Yeah.
And so we created a thing, we call that the imperfection economy, where, this is where plastic surgeons and weight loss companies, like, they're only making money if you're not feeling good about yourself. And we thought, and and I even thought about my kids in this equation. I'm like, I don't want my kids to feel that way, so I can't have my company participate in that. So we
Yeah.
created a concept called health esteem, where just showing up, or just or if you fall off going, "You know what? I'm not gonna condemn myself to
Right.
like, and reject myself because I blew it yesterday, or I blew it last week, or I went on a bender last weekend, I went to Vegas." No, I'm just
Mhm.
gonna come right back with grace and appreciate myself, have self-esteem for myself if I'm being conscious about my health esteem. And that was our answer to the imperfection economy. All of this, I would say, is housed in our desire to make fitness and nutrition make it easier for people to achieve a mindset that makes it more achievable for them to achieve something that will immediately benefit their overall well-being. And I think Body's done a very good job of that. The community has done a great job of that, and it's showing in the demeanor of people feeling better about themselves, even if they went from 250 pounds to 220 pounds, but their goal was to break 200, but we're helping them go, you got down to 220 pounds. Like,
Right.
you're
Be
carrying
proud of
30
yourself
pounds less.
instead of, yeah, look at the
Feel
glass half full.
great.
Mhm.
Yes. So that's been very redeeming. And again, this is the pressure that I put on myself. I've got to scale that because it's a really important thing.
It's very important and there's not enough of it, and I totally agree about right, you did something versus nothing and giving yourself grace, not being so hard on yourself and making it so hard to maintain that lifestyle. Speaking of, you were just talking about losing weight. What are your thoughts on GLP-1? How has that affected the
Mm.
industry?
Well, GLP-1s, like, they are it's an amazing breakthrough. I would say, I think it is so new. New drugs scare the hell out of me.
Yeah.
Like, you just don't know. But I've heard all these little things, not just that it's great for weight loss, but that it obviously was originally developed to help people who are pre-diabetic to avoid diabetes, or people get out of type 2 diabetes. I've even heard that cardiologists are starting to think that microdosing GLP-1s can help avoid um, heart disease.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, but again, I don't know what the consequence is. Whenever you
Right.
see the Wegovy ads or whatever, and you got all these people marching down the street, and they're all happy and they're painting and playing kickball.
Right.
Meanwhile, you're learning that is going to cause you diarrhea, dizziness, vomiting. I don't know.
Right.
So I think they're probably super helpful, but um, this is where we need the medical community to be far more proactive about never just prescribing something without very aggressively promoting healthy lifestyle choices at the same time. So
That's right.
somebody who does a GLP-1, it is very likely that the bulk of their weight loss or enough of their weight loss will come from muscle that it will undermine their metabolism and could undermine bone density. So that's devastating to long-term health span.
Yeah.
So, but it's such an attractive, gratifying idea to lose weight by just taking a pill that it's very difficult. It's very difficult to be disciplined within that marketing vortex. So that's what scares me about GLP-1s. That's why we put a program on the platform called the GLP-1 Fitness Formula, specifically for people who probably haven't done a whole lot of working out, but they need to lift some weights, do some cardio, manage their overall well-being in a way that takes into account that they're probably beginners, but is going to help them get an outcome that's not just skinny, but healthy. And
Right.
that I think is the imperative if we're going to embrace these medications.
Right. I mean, I think that if you are taking it, it's like the diet and the nutrition and the exercise is crucial because to your point, you don't want to be losing muscle, especially as
Yeah.
you get older. You were talking a little bit before about the men's program that women have been doing to gain muscle, and I think that's also been very, topical lately about just like women lifting heavy weights, um, which has been around forever. But I feel like more people are more aware of that. Like I've been like doing more weights that I used to 10 years ago, just because you're getting older and you want to be stronger and you want to beat all of these things you hear about. But um, what does that mean? Like people always say heavy weights, and I'm always like, what does that mean? Is that 10 pounds? Is that 50 pounds? Like, what is that? Or does it just depend on the person?
Yeah, well, there's the answer right there. Of course, it depends on the person, but
Yeah.
it's what it is resistance. Resistance to failure. So the muscle has to respond and get stronger because otherwise it will decline.
Yeah.
That's it. We've all seen what happens to a tricep as you age that is not challenged. That thing's going to evaporate. Like it atrophies and has no tone. And look, Amy, it's interesting. I think the question is really interesting because you said you've been aware of it. Like, did you ever think that lifting was not a important part of your regimen?
I think when I was younger, I did a lot of cardio. I lifted a little bit, like here and there, but it wasn't consistent like it is now. I did, and maybe that's just like a younger person's mindset, like you got to go hard, you got to do cardio, you got to do, like that was just more my mindset. And then the last, 5-ish, 10 years, it's more about just kind of like being more gentle to my body, but doing weightlifting and yoga and Pilates and walking and things like that.
Mhm.
So I don't know if everybody else is the same, but
Yeah, yeah.
it wasn't in my mindset when I was younger. Maybe now for younger people it is because it's more out there. You see more women that are not weightlifters lifting.
Sure. Yeah.
Because I
Yeah.
think when I was younger, I would think like people that lift weights were like bodybuilders, and I don't want to look like a
Mm.
bodybuilder.
Yeah, interesting. I don't know, I never had that perspective. A body's
Hmm.
a body. And I'm always sort of shocked. Look, I don't like to exercise. Like, I just don't like it.
You don't like to
So
exercise. Okay.
but 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 if I'm going to do it, because I know I need to do it for,
Right.
what I like to say is that half hour a day that I spend exercising and creating discomfort, if not pain for myself, and I don't mean injury, but I mean, it's hard to lift
Hard work.
weights long enough that you go, I can't lift this again, which is my goal. So if I can do that for a half hour a day, I get 23 and a half hours a day of comfort longer in my life. So the dues I'm paying is that half hour. And so that's the way I look at it. So when I look at people that come up with these things, I saw a video the other day of women, they're like in some harness of bungee cords and they're like bouncing and flying
Oh,
around
I've seen those.
the gym. And I'm like, what are they getting out of that other than the fun of being at a theme park or something?
Right.
But
I've
like,
seen that.
there
It's
is
wild.
zero. Or I saw another one where women were sort of sitting and they're hitting drumsticks on the ground. And I'm like, man, do we have to trick ourselves into this? Like, look, I know I'm not going to love it. I'm going to be kind of bored, although I like music. So I'll like to put good music on and just feel the music while I lift. But once I stop expecting that half hour to be some sort of gratifying thrill ride, and just like, I want this half hour to preserve my mobility into my 80s and 90s. Have you ever been
Yeah.
to like an assisted living facility? You ever been to one of those?
Yeah. It's very motivating to lift weights and get strong.
Well, isn't it stunning to watch people navigate in their 80s and 90s with complete fear of their surroundings?
Yeah.
Like, they're afraid to pick up stuff, drop stuff, fall
Right.
over, hit a crack. Like, they won't talk while they're walking because they don't want to multitask. And I visited my parents at their places, and I'm like, nothing motivated me to work out more than that.
Yep.
And I'm like, okay, okay. So
Yeah.
I
It
did a
definitely
post the
puts it
other.
into perspective 100%.
I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid of death. I'm afraid of a life that sucks,
Yeah.
and that where I'm immobile, or I'm suffering, or I'm bedbound, and I can't get out of a chair. That's what I'm afraid of. So
Yeah.
that's where my motivation to work out comes from, even though I don't love it.
Yeah, I saw you posting something about that you're in the best shape now than you have been your whole life. I wanted to hear about that as you're
Yeah.
61. That's amazing to hear.
Yeah, it is pretty crazy. Now, I can say that because I feel it. I'm
Hmm.
certainly leaner, like I won't show you my belt, but like I'm 2 loops off of where I was maybe 18 months ago.
Wow.
Okay, and that's because, and this will show you that I'm not just the CEO promoting his company. I really am customer number one,
Hmm.
because, after doing this 26 years, I can put it together a workout for myself. I've been watching them. I know how to do it. But what would happen is, so I started just putting my own little workouts together, and my workouts would stretch into an hour. And once they started to stretch into an hour because they were less efficient and I wasn't following anybody, um, then I was like, you know what? I don't have time to work out today. So I'd miss 2 days. I'd miss 3 days. So I'm missing days. They're less intense while I'm doing them. And then about a year and a half ago, I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to plug into one of our programs. I think it might have been this program, Chop Wood, Carry Water, that I did, which is just about repetition of movements and lifting and doing the basics, repeating them until they get comfortable.
Mm,
And I was like, wait a minute, that was about 35 minutes. And I was more intense than the bullshit I was doing on my own, putting it
yeah.
together. And I got these outrageous results. And I did one other thing. I stopped eating breakfast. And
Mm,
like, I've had this nutrition shake that we make called Shakeology. And I've been having that every day, but I used to have it at like 10:30. So I would have breakfast, do my workout, then have my shake. And instead, I'm like, you know what? I load the shake up, put spinach in there, put an egg in there, and do that for breakfast. And that got me back like 200, maybe 250 calories a day. And everything just got right. So my waistline shrank, my
So were you
muscles.
having the shake before you work out or after?
I have it after.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I don't wake up hungry. So I was just
Yeah,
like
I don't
forcing
either.
myself, yeah, out of this 3 meal a day thing. Now, I'm not a big intermittent fasting. Like, I experimented with intermittent fasting, and it turned into a mental trick with myself. All I ended up doing was eating less, and I was like, "Oh, this is how you get an eating disorder," because all I'm doing
Yeah.
is shrinking and shrinking and shrinking my eating to eat less because I lost weight. That But I was also losing muscle like crazy. So,
So you
yeah,
started skipping breakfast, doing the shake after your workout.
yeah. And I would say, you know what, the trick to all of that was, because it's one thing to say, "Hey, I'm doing a program, it's way more efficient, and this is the way I'm eating." But for me, it came down to own my morning. Like, I love my first hour and a half of the morning. It's like a routine, and I get to 8 a.m. And I checked all the boxes, and I'm set up for a great day. I did my cold plunge, had my lemon water, had my spoonful of apple cider vinegar, did my workout, did my shake, and I'm like, who's the healthiest guy in this house?
Yeah,
So,
that's a great feeling.
yeah.
So do you get up at 5?
Between 5 and 5:30. Yeah. It's
Good for
easier
you.
when it's light out, but,
Yeah.
once the clock changes and then it's like a whole ordeal. But I do like that peace in the morning when the whole space is mine. And, but if I don't get it done in the morning, I'm gonna struggle. I'll fight with myself all day. So that would be my one takeaway from this. If anybody's listening that wants, like, what do I do? Just squeeze it into the morning and make that the one thing that you don't whine about. Like, you're just doing this. Make this your rule, and everything will get easier. Weight loss will get easier. Food choices will be easier if you set it up. Now, some people have crazy schedules. They're up super late or whatever, but I'm just saying, first mover, take advantage of the morning, then get on with your day, and you don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, and I think you were saying too that change to do the program that's like 35 minutes, that's more attainable on a daily basis. And so once you start doing that and you start waking up early and changing your breakfast habits a little bit, then all of a sudden you lose two belt loops.
Yeah. Well, people go nuts. Like, they try to find a little hook or a little secret, and like, back in the day, the cabbage soup diet, wasn't there this lady
Mhm.
who was just like, eat my protein crackers? Like, there's like, all these little tricks are really just tricks that are all getting you to the same place. And the place is, eat less processed food and watch your portions. Find a way to get vegetables in, even if you hate them. Like, I have my trick for vegetables is, I need to not be able to tell that they're vegetables. So, like, if I'm having a steak, I'll have some mashed potatoes with it. And literally, I'm a third grader. I will take my broccoli and chop it all up so that I can hide it in the mashed potatoes. And so, with every bite of steak and mashed potatoes, I'm getting broccoli too. And, but it works, like
Great.
it's all just working, and, I'm regular, my digestion, my gut, my energy. For 61-year-olds, I'm doing better than many of my peers who are complaining like 61 is old.
Yeah,
And, I had a guy say to me the other day, he was like, "Oh, I'm in my mid-60s, so please forgive me." And I'm like, "Well, I won't forgive you. Take control and
100%.
own
That's
that shit."
young.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, 100%. All right, this has been so insightful and inspiring. Before we go, I wanna do our quick wrap session.
Okay.
Um, so first one, and you kinda just gave me one, but what's your favorite wellness or beauty hack?
Well, it would be the morning. It would be
Yeah.
like own the morning. I definitely don't have a beauty hack, you can tell. But,
You look great.
you know, I will say that for me, something about the cold plunge is like I said this thing, master versus the slave, right? So, something about the cold plunge, which sucks. That first
That's
minute
brutal.
getting in, getting all the way in is just awful every day. But once you're in and then you go, like, I'll go like 3.5 minutes and I get out and I feel like king of the world and I can own it. Right. So that's a really important life hack for me. And I know it's also very good for me, stimulates a lot of good, healthy things, as long as I'm not, like, if I'm borderline not feeling well, I won't do it. Um, but yeah, those are my 2 things, like, and well, let me give you one more. I will say that I don't do it every night, but, a walk after dinner is oddly transformative.
Hmm.
20 minutes, like, but get some speed. It's not a stroll, it's a walk. And, I don't I don't know. I sleep better and I don't feel full when I'm going to sleep. Like, everything just is just, I don't know, it's just better.
Yeah, that's a good one. I know. I've done that a couple times, and every time I do a walk after dinner, I'm like, I need to do this more instead of just like walking in the morning or whatever.
Yeah.
I love that. So this you kind of sort of answer too, but how do you maintain your daily nirvana? Like, what do you do to keep peaceful and feel good? I mean, all of these things you probably do, but anything in particular?
Well, nirvana is not a state of happiness, right? It's a state of not suffering, but you're lacking desire, right? That's what it is. It's like this
It's
harmony.
yeah, harmony, exactly.
Yeah. So, I would say that is a that I would also equate that there's this book by Jim Murphy called Inner Excellence, which is a fantastic book and will help you sort of navigate the master and the slave, or the master and the ego.
Hmm.
And so I'm constantly taking inventory for what reactions am I having or thoughts am I having that are ego based or outcome based versus process based, and uh, more about learning. So if I focus on learning and process versus outcome and comparison, I'm I'm in a state of nirvana. So
Yeah,
so which means I got to limit social media, because you get into all this. You can't help but
yeah,
compare on social
yeah.
media. So limit that. So again, I go back to the health esteem idea.
I
Stop
love that
comparing
name.
stop comparing your photos or your images or your size to anybody else, and go, what is right for me? And am I learning? And am I exploring this process to get the most out of this life? So that's that just means, really, I'm sharpening the knife all day long, constantly working on that, because I'm throwing a lot of metaphors around, but it's like that ego, that desire for comparison is the snake in the room.
Yep.
And that thing's going to bite me if I ever take my eye off it. So I've got to always be aware of the 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 origin or motivation of the thoughts that I'm entertaining.
I love that. I actually was just listening to a podcast recently with Jay Shetty, who was talking about a similar concept. He called it like seeds versus weeds. So, like, what are the weeds, the things that are feeding your ego that are not healthy and whatever, versus
Yeah.
the seeds that are bringing you value and bringing you learning and bringing you long term, happiness. So, I love that. And I need to try to do that more. But anyway, thank you for being on Wellness Junkies. This was so enlightening, and
Wow,
it's so interesting to hear your story. And we will all be trying some new programs on BODi, that's for sure.
that's awesome. Yeah, BODi.com. I hope.
Thanks for listening to Wellness Junkies. For more on today's episode, follow us on Instagram at Wellness Junkies Official and find us on TikTok and YouTube at Wellness Junkies. You can also head to wellnessjunkiesofficial.com for expanded show notes, product links, and more. If you love the episode, leave a review and share it with a friend. We appreciate the love. Catch you next week. Bye.